welcome to another Tested Tuesday. On this week's episode, I am going to be making a rose scented whipped shea butter. Stay tuned and see how to make your own whipped shea butter.
Hey, it's a brand new day. Wake up, darling, show me what you can do with the gifts you're given. Trust.
To begin this whole process, I actually cleaned every single thing that I was going to use because I knew that I was going to be selling these to my friends. And I just don't feel right just touching everything with my hands and not cleaning things beforehand. So I sterilized everything. So I used soapy hot water and I put the glass jars that I'm going to use. I put the mixer, the spoons, everything that I'm basically going to touch this shea butter with to disinfect it. And after that process, I also put some rubbing alcohol and I use it to wipe everything down again. So once I was finally able to scoop up the amount that I wanted, I went ahead and placed that in the bowl. Again, this was my very first trial, so I was kind of testing everything, so I can't really tell you the amount that I scooped into the bowl. I started off with a super small bowl and had to switch it because the shea butter was splattering everywhere. So if you're going to be making this, make sure you have a big enough bowl to keep the shea butter from splattering everywhere. You can personally add whatever type of oils that you want to add, but for this recipe, for this rose scented recipe, I decided to add coconut oil, cocoa butter. I also added vitamin E, jojoba oil, and avocado oil. Additionally, you will see later that I will add in 2 scents. If you just don't want to add those scents, you can just leave your oils as is. It just won't smell like the rose scent that I am describing. But you can leave it as is with all the oils that you want to, or just with no oil, just whip your regular shea butter. Your shea butter should have about the consistency of, let's say, cake icing. So it should be very, very smooth to touch. While you were making it, if you put a little bit on yourself and you notice that it's a little too greasy, that might actually be coming from the coconut oil. So if you want, you can reduce the amount of coconut oil that you are using. It can be very, very messy, especially when you're doing this for the first time. So whatever you can prepare ahead of time, please go ahead and prepare it ahead of time. For example, getting everything set out and situated for you so you don't have to keep touching everything while you have the butter on your gloves. I make these to order, meaning that I actually just make the shea butter once they're ordered, so I don't just have them sitting somewhere for a very long time until someone orders them. No, I will make them to order. Once you place your order, that's when I'll be making them, so that I can put love and care into delivering you shea butter that you will absolutely love. Again, if you are interested in ordering from me, please click the Etsy link down below. If you also just want to thicken it and kind of make it more, I don't know, like fluffy like, that's why I added in that arrowroot. If you don't want to, you don't have to add that in. I believe the website is actually the same name as what's on the label for the 2 cents. So if you haven't checked out my travel vlog section, then you probably don't know that I went to Ghana a few months ago. And when I went, I brought back some shea butter with me. I brought back this big, this big calabash of shea butter with me so that I can actually whip it for myself. I initially brought it to whip it for myself, but I realized just how much it was, and then I started selling them and realized I actually love making these for other people and experimenting with the different types of oils and scents and the different benefits that you can actually get from this. To give it that pink rose color that I was looking for, I use mica powder. You can find mica powder on Amazon. I combined 2 different types of pinks, a darker pink color and then a lighter pink color. And I separated those into 2 different bowls just so I can mix them later when I'm putting them in my jar. Unfortunately, my camera died right before I actually placed this into my jar. But what I did was I grabbed a gallon size Ziploc bag, and then if you want, you can actually use the same pipe that you use to ice cake, or you can just cut the tip of that Ziploc bag. I think it's pretty easy just to cut the tip off of that Ziploc bag, but if you're trying to get designs, then I would go ahead and use the pipe. That one is a little bit more difficult, just requires some more arm work, and the second you get that shea butter on your hand, it's going to be very, very slippery and messy. So I placed the three different color shea butters into my Ziploc bag. I had the plain white one that I had sitting in the bowl, and then I added in my pink one and then my dark pink. So my light pink and my dark pink. I just scooped all of those three different ones into my piping bag. And you don't really have to put it a certain way because I kind of want like a swirl type design. So I placed all of that in a Ziploc bag and then I squeezed it all into my jar or whatever you want to keep your shea butter in. If you are using the mica powder, just be careful if you use too much and someone of maybe a lighter complexion is using that, it might actually be visible on their skin. That light pink color might be visible. Of course, if that is the case, they just have to keep rubbing it in. It's going to disappear. It's not like a major big deal. This is about the same thing as eyeshadow. And that's all I had to do to make this rose scented whipped shea butter. So I currently have just the plain raw whipped shea butter. That means no additional oils added to it. It's just plain old whipped shea butter that I will go ahead and whip together for you, just so it's easier to apply and easier to use. I also have the rose scented one that you just watched in this video, and then I also have the one where I actually add in oils to it. So the one where I add in coconut oil, not cocoa oil, my bad, cocoa butter, vitamin oil, jojoba oil, and if you would like any additional oils, you can leave a comment when you're ordering to let me know what additional oil you would like for me to add. Thank you for joining me on this Tested Tuesday experiment of this shea butter. I'm glad it actually turned out really well, and I'm glad that I discovered I actually love making these. Make sure to tune in next time to see what I am testing for another Tested Tuesday. And of course, if you have any suggestions of things that you want me to test, whether that be food, different products like this that you want me to make, please let me know in the comments down below. Whatever ideas you have or things that you want to try out but you just haven't gotten around to and you'd like for me to try out, please let me know down below. Until next time, guys, see y'all later. Bye.
Rise and shine, gotta get the day started. Sun beaming in my face as the blessings keep falling.